I call the Honourable Member Andrew Williams.
I rise on behalf of New Zealand First as the Building and Construction spokesman, but can I just say that I have now seen probably the best halfback in this House just illustrate how you flick the ball on so quickly so as not to take any responsibility for the appalling situation that occurred in the 1990s. All those who can recall the 1990s will know what exactly happened, and in fact we could almost refer to the Minister as the $20 billion man, because he was around in the 1990s as a Minister of Housing in those times, when the start of the leaky housing program, well, you were Minister of something at the time in a national government when it was all approved. Probably the Minister of Small Business. Started off the Minister of Large Business, but ended up the Minister of Small Business. But Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, this is an appalling situation that we're seeing the national government basically walk away from its responsibilities. And again, as the Minister just passed the ball, they're trying to pass the ball on this bill as well, this Building Amendment Bill number 3. What they're trying to do is pass the responsibility and pass all care and no responsibility basically onto the building industry and the builders and the end consumer, the homeowners and the people who will own the homes, and basically taking a lot of the responsibility away from the regulatory authorities, the local authorities, the councils, and making sure that the builders are the ones that basically carry the can on everything. But as we know, Mr. Chairman, many of these builders might be a builder here today, they might be a registered company here today, but they might only be worth $100, and they could be in Queensland next month and gone. Or their building company is closed down and reopened 6 months' time under a different name and disappeared. And this is half the problem that's been going on with the leaky homes situation, that so many of those builders from the 90s and the early 2000s simply either don't exist anymore as building entities or have disappeared, Mr. Chairman, and they're no longer to be found. And so, as the honourable member said, Mr. Twyford said before, it was the councils who were the last man standing. They were the only ones who were left as any entity with any money that had to stand up and try and help solve the leaky building crisis created in the 1990s under a national government. We have a situation now where, under this bill, we could have all sorts of jerry builders being responsible for the end result. We could have a lowering of standards. Where do some of these builders come from? We don't know. In this country, where are they actually coming from? Many of the builders, of course, are not necessarily brought up in our own building standards and compliance area of expertise. They may have undertaken their apprenticeships or their skills training in all sorts of environments of building. We don't know the answer to this question. The Minister's basically saying that whoever turns up and gets a licence to be a builder can just build it and take all responsibilities for these dwellings that are put up. But at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, do we know where half of these builders come from? I've had alarming reports just in the last week or so from constituents in various parts of the country saying to me that they really do wonder where some of the builders that are popping up in some of our towns and cities around New Zealand today originate from in terms of their building skills. So are we going to see a back to the future situation again? Are we going to see the repeat of the $20 billion leaky home saga from the national government in the 1990s? Are we going to see that all happen again in the next 5 to 10 years? Because this minister said, oh, we handled it all. We just put all the responsibility onto the builders. We put it all in their hands and into the hands of the end consumer, because they were therefore going to be the ones who would sort out the whole industry and they would take responsibility. Only to find that in 5 years' time, half those builders could well be putting their feet up on the beaches of Queensland or on the beaches of Fiji or any other place, not to be found. And again, who will be carrying the can? the taxpayers of New Zealand, the consumers of New Zealand. End of the day, it will be the government and local government in New Zealand, again, who will have to stump up for this situation. Mr. Chairman.
I call the Honourable Shane Jones.
Mr. Chair, your judgment